Welcome to our Devos. We are talking about considerations when it comes to your conflicts. We're all going to have to deal with conflict in one way, shape, or form. So we have to navigate this in a way that helps us to handle it the way that God would want us to handle it. Now, we're going to make pretend for a moment that you are in the middle of a conflict. That somebody comes up to you and they confront you about something. I don't like me and Pastor Jason were just talking about outfits because I don't dress very, my dress is very boring. So the way I dress. So I wear this vest, and you might say, I don't like your vest. I don't like that. Somebody's confronting you about this. I'm just being stupid because I don't want to touch a hot button issue, but somebody says that. So here's something you can do. When somebody's on the offensive, and when you are in the middle of a conflict that you didn't start, that somebody just comes to you and they are confronting you, or you find yourself in the middle of an argument, this is a great rule of thumb. All right, it's really, really hard to do. Super simple to understand, really, really difficult to do. Listen twice as much as you speak. Listen twice as much as you speak. So if somebody comes up to me and says, I don't like your vest, and I'm like, tell me more about that. Why is that? I just don't like the way it looks. Oh, really? What do you think about when you think of how this looks? And just keep asking questions. And then when they say, it's because my father wore vests and I hate him, then you go, you're mad at your father, not at me, and then you just solve the whole conflict, all right? Of course I'm joking. Of course I'm kidding. But this is true in that it helps to dissolve a lot of conflict if you're asking questions instead of giving statements of justification. If you're really focusing on trying to hear their point of view. I teach Dale Carnegie classes on the side. And Dale Carnegie has a principle that is, it's one of the 30 principles written in the How to Win Friends and Influence People. And one of those principles is try honestly to see things from the other person's point of view. So you can't, in a conflict, honestly see things through somebody else's point of view unless you're genuinely understanding what that point of view is. And a lot of times conflict is rooted in not lies so much as misunderstanding. You misunderstood me when I said this. There was something that I said, and this never ever happens. My wife and I never have any conflicts, so it's so rare that I can remember when they happen. But of course, my marriage is just like yours. We have just as much conflict. But I said something to her. I can't even remember exactly what the context was. And she took it a certain way. And I said, why are you upset about this? She's, because you said blah, blah, blah. I said, yeah. I said, I didn't mean what you're thinking. And she's like, you didn't? And I said, no. I was so taken back. And here, that whole entire conflict, the whole thing was a misunderstanding. And it was diffused by one question. What did you think I meant by that? Well, what I thought you meant, I was like, of course I don't mean that. Now, this is a little harder if the conflict is red hot and it's, super aggressive, but it's hard for people to be furious and angry when you're asking them questions about how they feel and how they've arrived at the conclusion of a conflict. The writer James talks about this, Jesus' brother. He says in James chapter 1, verse 19, know this, my beloved brothers, let every person be quick to hear, slow to speak, and slow to anger. All right? 2 slows and 1 quick. And we're usually quick to speak, slow to hear, and quick to anger. And the problem is that formula just don't work. It doesn't work. Instead, what we have to do is we have to get ourselves to the place where we are willing to listen. Well, what's this person thinking? What do they think I did? What do they think happened here? How do they think I wronged them? How do they think I hurt them? And then we aim to resolve the conflict in a righteous way. But a lot of times just hearing what their problem is and really getting a sense of what is going on with them, that helps. This works a lot, and I mean a lot, when you're in corporate environments or when you're in a managerial environment, asking people well, what caused this to happen? Or what do you think went wrong? What do you think made this? What would make this better? Asking them questions, because a lot of times they know the answer and you're coaching them, you're guiding them, you're leading them by giving them the opportunity to really establish why they do what they do. But then it's giving you the opportunity to understand their perspective. So take the time. Listen twice as much as you speak.